Hey everybody, it's Eddie Joe on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? So, yeah, we did not have the greatest of times, right? Today, the market was down like huge. Let me see if I can get you those numbers real quick. The market was down, 739.42 points. Dow S&P was down 103.18 points, and the NASDAQ was down 404.16 points. Now, ugly day. It's just an ugly day. But, was it overselling? You know what I mean? Panic, oversell. The algorithms just kept chasing each other until one of them corrected. You know what I mean? And you start to realize, oh yeah, that's right. Max in his house. Thanks for letting us know you invest in yourself, man. Greatly appreciate it. So the market right now is at 22. Actually, right now it's at 21. Extreme fear. Shock. But you start to realize that, yeah, right now there's some overselling going on. Should the market have dropped? Yeah, there wasn't a lot of good news. Ulta Beauty dropped. There was just a lot. Sucks to suck in this market. Deep breath. One of the mistakes that I used to make when I was younger was I would take a wad of cash or a wad of whatever that I was ready to invest, and I would just invest it all. Here's what would happen every single time. Pew, pew. Yeah. Every single time I invested at once, every single time, market would drop. I mean, not significantly, and it would eventually come back. But every single time. And you know something? It didn't come back like that. It would come back when it felt like it. So I would just be on pins and needles. Pins and needles. What was the lesson? What my mother used to teach me. Don't spend all your money on one place. You can't get any more clear than that one lesson. You know, besides no is no. It was telling, and it took me a minute to figure it out. It took me a minute to go, maybe I shouldn't do that. Really? And I have a funny feeling that what's going on right now is you have algorithms that move on, the various risk factors that are out there. It's math. They're calculating math, and they go, not going to do that. And when one does it, another one calculates its math, looks at that one, and not going to. And then next thing you know, you've got this snowball. On top of that, you have a bunch of retail people, day traders, freaking out and just losing their minds and just going, no. And so they do the same thing. Everybody forgets that algorithms rule the market, right? You're never going to be able to beat the speed of an algorithm unless you have an algorithm for you. And even then, you have to pay for those big connections that they have that you don't have. So that's something else. However, if you can pay attention to the news, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately, and then learn that one little lesson that my mother used to teach me. Don't spend all your money on one place. Right? And it's not necessarily one place. It's more like, there's no reason to be spending all your money at once. And like I said, it took me a minute to grow up a little bit, mature a little bit, and understand that from an investment perspective. Thanks, Mom. So right now, do I think the market deserves to be down? Why is the market down? Well, not everybody came out with good numbers. That's number one. So that's going to drive the market down. With the market being down so hard, nobody's thinking we're going to get rate cuts. Nobody. No time soon. You want to know when Goldman Sachs thinks your rate cuts are going to come? September. Everybody's pushing back to September. Here's my problem. If Kevin Warsh gets approved and he becomes the next chair, I think he's a yes man and he's going to do whatever he's told to do. That's a massive problem. That's a massive problem. Because play it out in your head. You drop the rates right now. If he was SEC chair, there's a high probability. So if you were to drop the rates right now, what would that do? It's a waste. It's a waste, right? Because you don't know what the market's going to do in this volatile macro event space, macro event driven space, geopolitical driven space. You're not going to get it right. You're just not. Now, if none of that was going on, you have a case for dropping the rates. Honestly, you would. I think you would have a case for dropping the rates, even with the job situation. You might have a case to drop the rates. You could have a case to drop the rates. You could have a case to leave the rates alone. Me, I would leave the rates alone. Right? I would leave the rates alone. Why? Because if I start dropping now, I have less choices later, and I'm not expecting good news later. That's why. I'm just not expecting good news later. Now, I sit back and I kind of go, we got caught out there because they didn't raise the rate. They didn't lower the rates soon enough the last time. And would that play forward? It's a different environment right now. You really can't compare the two. But I would vote for, if I was on the Fed, I would vote for leaving the rates alone, especially with geopolitical macro events going on. Scott Bessent went on Sky News and said, well, we will escort ships when it's militarily possible. He didn't give a date. He didn't give a time frame. That one. He did not give a date. He did not give a time frame. He was very open-ended. And that kind of makes me say, will we or won't we? That's where I'm coming from. So I don't know that I can depend on the United States to escort ships. If the United States isn't escorting ships, what do we do? What do we do? So it's back to the drawing board. It's back to, okay, so let's get back to fundamentals, right? Tonight's question, my bad, let me say it again. What is the latest car company to sound the alarm bell, right? Stellantis, Audi, GMC, or other? Again, which is the latest car company to sound the alarm bell? Stellantis, Audi, GMC, or other? Oof. Yeah, that could be interesting. That could be very interesting. A JP Morgan Chase customer facilitated $328 million in fraud via a fake liquidity pool, leading to a federal lawsuit against JP Morgan Chase and accusations of regulatory non-compliance, with CEO Christopher Alexander Delgado arrested for fraud. Clearly, he's not the CEO of JP Morgan. He's CEO of the company that screwed up. Think about that. Think about that. That's not small. That's huge. I just want to look up this guy's name. Bear with me for a moment. Yeah, Goliath Ventures. So, JP Morgan, the United States' largest bank, is being called out on the carpet. For allowing that to happen. Allegedly allowing that to happen. Imagine. And then, how did you do it? I haven't read the court documents yet. Okay? Because is it just that happened to be Goliath's bank and it's a far reach to actually try to go after JP Morgan? Or did JP Morgan play a bigger role? Those are the questions I have. Right? Those are really the questions I have. We all know about the SEC and the CFTC holding hands. We're going to do this together. Yay! The SEC Commissioner, Hester Pierce, crypto mom, urged regulators to avoid micromanaging markets, citing Adam Smith's principles, while the SEC advanced tokenized securities discussions and issued a no-action letter to DTCC for blockchain-based settlement. That means they can move forward. That's what that means. Not for nothing. Yay. But, Hester Pierce really does have a point. You really do have a point, because the SEC was way too, how do you say this? Where's the wording? Way too asinine. That's the word. Way too asinine when it came to regulating the crypto space. And for me, that's a massive problem. And some people are sitting there going, why is that a massive problem for you? And I don't know that the problem is going away, by the way. Listen to what the massive problem is, in my humble opinion. No pragmatic approach on how to manage the crypto space. No forethought to how the crypto space should be managed in comparison to the current traditional financial system. The reason why I say it like that is because if you look at crypto right now, what do you see happening? Right? You see a lot of infrastructure being built. Right? Okay. You see a lot of just investment happening. Okay. What else do you see? What else do you see? It wasn't until institutions really got involved that you started hearing words like derivatives, swaps, some really big terms, some really big words, restaking. You started realizing, wow, we really are trying to replace the traditional financial system. Like pound for pound, bean for bean, you know what I mean? Nail for nail. Just, that's what I see. That's what I see. And with all of this going on, the resilience of the crypto space. Hello, Ripple. We see you. Nobody thought to stop and say, maybe we need to give all of this some thought. How much of a pass has the traditional financial system gotten over the years that were not afforded to crypto? Crypto got hit hard from jump, from the beginning, just got hit hard. First it was the naysayers, then it was, outright, this is fake, it's nothing, it's Fugazi, Yeah, all that from major players in the financial markets. It wasn't until they realized, oh man, this is real. Hey, these kids could be on to something. Look at how fast this stuff is moving. We can't move things that fast. Then it became a game of control. And that's the game that's still being played. Why do you think I scream for retail to get more involved in crypto? Because retail was involved. Then we got shook because of all the lawsuits. And while we got shook, institutions started stepping in. Massively. So you start looking at things and you're kind of like, man, we need to catch up. Yes, retail needs to catch up. Absolutely. No doubt. Unequivocally. We need to catch up. The opportunities are there. I say it every day. You want to know why I don't talk about coins that are beyond 250? Because it's easier to have the conversation with people that do not understand beyond that. Okay? It's easier to have the conversation of, here are the use cases for the coins that we're interested in. This is what a meme coin looks like. Coins beyond 250 are very, very, very low market caps. So yeah, it's an easier way to have the conversation. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't look at coins that are above 250 in ranking, or rather below 250 in ranking. It just means that because we talk to such a wide audience, I've got to figure out a space, and I thought it was 250, where we could catch more attention. Here you are way up here at the tippity top, and then here are these coins all the way down here at the bottom. Something to think about. Something to do your research on. Because what do? We do our own research. We know our entries and exits, and we absolutely invest deliberately. That's why. Because when you stop and you think about this, you're kind of like, wow, we really need to pay attention to this stuff. Because most people don't. The lowest ranked coin, I'm not going to say the name because I don't want anybody to jump into that, is at 112 out of the top 250. I want you to hear me. $112,030. I'm sorry, $112,030,271. 112 million. I don't look at anything beyond that. 112 million? And I'm shocked that it's actually that high. For a period of time, the top 250 was below 100 million. Just saying. So you start to realize, wow, that is a pretty, from 112 million, right, all the way up to 1.4 trillion. Yeah. It's easier to make the case when you're looking at it like that. Here's the cream of the crop. And all the way down here, 250. So you get a range of coins that you can start to look at. You're all the way down in the micro caps. I haven't come up with a term. I haven't heard a term beyond micro caps. I mean, I probably have, but, I can't remember what it is. So, yeah. Now you know why I look at this stuff every day, because I need to know, like, what's going on. What is it looking like? Right now, Bitcoin's at, 70? Was it 70 or 71? Give me a moment. Bitcoin's at 71,329. The market went like this, and crypto is staying steady within this zone. Staying steady within this zone. Hey, Hutanic, thanks for letting us know you invested in yourself. That's actually a really big idea, to be able to stand strong when the market is cowering, when oil prices are zooming. Last I checked, oil was at like $96 and change. It's bouncing between 96 and 98. That has a global effect. Every oil person that will tell you that you really want oil to stay, you know, below 90. Below 90, people don't really have to make adjustments. They can ride it out. Above 90, and now people have got to start rethinking how they're doing things. And that's where we are right now. That's where we are right now. And again, I sit here saying to myself, I don't know if anybody in that space is actually thinking pragmatically. Again, this invasion, this bombing of Iran has happened without any economic thought. None. Because if you did think about it, we wouldn't be scrambling to release oil, right? We would have said, oh, we're going to release oil. This is the part of the plan and blah, 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 blah. Not scrambling to figure out some number. 172? Okay, whatever. And you start to realize, wow, okay, so we're doing that now. We didn't give it any thought. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, we're gonna hit a global recession. It's highly possible we hit a global recession. So far, we've just been hitting above 100, right? We've been going like that with above 100. If we hit 100 and it maintains above 100, that's a wrap. To me, that's a global recession. That's going to happen. That's like a guaranteed global recession. Then what? Do you think we have a problem with jobs now? And more news outlets are reporting, yeah, they're trying to blame AI, but if you do the math, it has nothing to do with AI. Not a thing. Not a thing. And then you have news like Anthropic in talks with Blackstone to start their own AI consulting arm. Hold that in your hand for a minute. Imagine Anthropic, because there are tons of AI consulting firms. We do AI consulting. You're going to have the maker of one of the hottest tools out there in the AI space have their own consulting arm. Did you hear that term, SaaSpocalypse? Yeah. And Blackstone owns a few of those companies, or has investments in a few of those companies. That's going to be a problem. I don't care what anybody says. That's going to be a problem. Do I think that our current bevy of tools in the AI space will take us to, AGI? No. Do I think that you can still pull off a lot of really cool, really useful things with the tools that we have right now? Absolutely yes. I have one. So it's massive. Those small companies out there that are trying to figure out how to become relevant because they're all afraid of, losing out to the big boys. So we've got a way to help them create content and help them market that content and reuse that content properly to really get them out there and set them apart from their competitors. That's Anthropic, right? Anthropic's just a bigger version of what we do. except they create one of the LLMs. We don't use Claude. We don't use any of that stuff. Opus 4.6 or whatever. We don't use that. We use different ones. But if they were to do that, that's a massive freaking problem. It's a massive. They get in the door cheaper than, let's say, and because it's not just software. See, that's where people first look. It's not just software. I said a consulting firm. So that punches Accenture, EY, Deloitte. It punches all of the big consulting firms dead in the face. Like haymaker punch in the face. Like Jake Paul punch in the face. Yeah. That would be massive. Let me rephrase that. It's not that it will be it's not that it, could be massive. It's that it will be massive. If those notes already got out there that they're talking to Blackstone to create this, that means they've already made up their mind that this is going to happen. It's just who do they go to the dance with? But they're going to the dance. Yup. That's a big deal. So if I'm a major software player, all right, so Microsoft takes a hit. They're not going to take a big hit, even though they haven't been creative and done something special in a really long time. They'll take a hit, but they're going to be here for a really long time because Microsoft is absolutely capable of turning on the dime. Oracle, I'm not a fan of Oracle, but Oracle will be here for a long time. They're the backbone. They're the backbone database for what? 70% of the major applications that are out there. Even if you said it was 40%, even if you said it was 30%, that's a huge chunk for a tiny, for one company, right? That's when you start thinking. You start thinking, whoa, wait a minute. So what would that consultancy do? That consultancy would be leveraged across any market, any sector that you could think of. Blockchain, television, entertainment, manufacturing, logistics. Yeah. Stop and think about what the impact would be if they opened up that kind of business, that kind of firm. They make the software. Holy moly. If you're a small company, my size, larger, that are thinking, well, we're an AI consultancy too. You're not. They're coming to the table with tools already built. That's what my team did. We didn't say, oh, we're going to start talking to people about doing AI. We were like, no, before we think about doing that, we're going to build out these tools and we're going to demonstrate to people the guardrails, guardrails with these tools. We're going to explain to them why the guardrails are there, all the things that are involved. So that way, when they look at another company and they just go, oh, that's a really nice solution. Where are the guardrails? Exactly. Not going to have to do that with Anthropic. Everybody and their mama is going to jump on board with Anthropic because they said no to the government. Of course they have guardrails. Some people ask me, Eddie, how come you're not worried? I'm not worried because the companies that we're going to service are not at the level that they could afford an Anthropic. Straight up. We're trying to help mom and pop shops, companies up to like 4,000 or 5,000. They're trying to help companies. They're trying to help enterprises. They'll be ridiculously busy with enterprise business. They probably have a list of customers right now, and they haven't even opened up their doors. Why am I going so deep into this? That is the right question. Why would I be going so deep into this? Because it's going to affect your bags. Pick a market. Go back to their report. You don't think this was planned? Go back to that report of what jobs they said they were going to take. That's not really what it's all about. What it's all about is we're the company with the tools. We can walk in. We'll help you figure everything out. And we'll put AI and automation where they best fit. It's what we do. Except that both of our companies can sit there and reach into a bag and say, we have a tool for that. We have a ready-made tool for that, and we'll just customize it for you without breaking the tool. Big software companies, if they want to customize a solution for you, they really are forking the code. If we want to roll that out for you, we've actually built that in. It's just a drop down. Grand old difference. Grand old difference. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. A federal court dismissed key claims against Binance in a 2024 lawsuit, that's when it started, alleging Hamas fund facilitation. And Binance is like, duh. It's sort of like, I looked at that case and I was thinking it was just like Tornado Cash. So you're going to blame Microsoft because they created Word and Word was used to write this ransom note? Is that really what we're doing? Just saying, you sit down and you look at all that news and you sit there and you kind of go, holy moly, yeah, that does sound right. Orb shares rose 15% after securing $125 million in funding. That's not the story. But closed 12% lower over 5 days and 46% lower year to date, despite backing from BitMine and ARK Invest. That's Orbs. Yeah. Even if you have big names behind you that are investing in you, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to do well. I will say this for them. They probably have some longevity. There are a lot of names out there that go back to Ton, right? Go back to Sui. These are two teams that come from companies with big names. Ton, Telegram, Sui, Facebook. Didn't come from Facebook, but that team came from Facebook. They're going to have some longevity. That's what I'm looking for. That's literally what I'm looking. Use case, who's involved, what are you doing? And have you been paying attention to Sui and Ton and a couple other coins out there? They hit a point, and now they're just moving laterally like everybody else. Like, this is our space. Until we hit the next rise, this is our space. We're going to maintain. Hyperliquid is another one of them. And you're kind of like, whoa, that's interesting. You know what I haven't looked up in a while? Let me see if I can find this one. Aster, doing the same thing. It hit the top 50, and it's just kind of moving like this. The other day, I brought up Near Protocol out of nowhere. Near Protocol is doing better than most of the coins out there. Near Protocol's year to date, only in the red, 7.33%. Past 30 days, it's up 40.48%. Last 7 days, up 10.28%. Last 24 hours, up 7.82%. This is what I mean by do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. These coins have use cases. Are you paying attention? Aave, down 21.29%. Basically, that's a lot to be down. But Aave controls their market space. They've got a huge percentage of DeFi. Huge percentage. Now you know why I'm always driving, do your own research. Because even when the market is down, there's still a way to make money. There's still a way for you to increase your value. Just saying, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. A little bit of luck, not going to kid you. A little bit of luck, timing. That's really what it comes down to, timing. But wow, there's huge opportunity. Who'd have thought Near Protocol? I wrote off Near long time ago. And Near basically flipped me the bird because Near is at ranked 41 and it's doing quite well. This is why you do your own research. But I can't do research on everything. So I don't feel bad about missing out on Near. Did I really miss out? No, I didn't. I did a little bit better than break even on Near Protocol when I had that bag. So I'm not upset. Do I think I missed the boat? No, I don't. No, I don't. Not at all. I'm still holding a bag of Mantle. Do I feel like I missed the boat on that? No. Not at all. Mantle is currently it's down 24, almost 25% year to date. But Mantle's hovering around 37. What does that tell you? That tells you that some coins are jumping up. Other coins are maintaining their current space because the whole market is kind of going like that, sideways. The strong ones survive. Strong ones survive. The great culling is still going to happen. Still going to happen. You're still going to see different projects fall by the wayside, and you're going to see different mergers happen. That's still going to happen for sure. For sure. But you got to pay attention to this stuff. You got to keep your nose in the news. I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to go on vacation and I'm just going to put my phone down, not do anything. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because it takes a lot to pick back up. When you're on vacation, read the news for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. If you can, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. You'll keep abreast of everything that's going on. And you'll be able to keep it moving. Really comes down to how often do you trade? How often do you actually, roll the dice? Just saying. Are you paying attention to what's going on? And so many people are only paying attention to what's going on in this crypto market, but they're not paying attention to other things that are going on. Real estate prices. Smaller home builders, they're starting to get loans again. They're a little bit cheaper, so they're starting to get loans again. What does that mean? They're starting to build homes again. Home prices have been really high, right? Maybe they'll come down a little bit because they're adding to inventory. Talking about new homes, not pre-existing. Why do I pay attention to that? Because everything feeds into everything. People aren't selling their homes right now. You need new homes on the market. Why aren't they selling? Also, because it's cheaper to keep her. That's one. Two, home-based projects, those DIY projects, not happening as much. Those upgrades on houses, not happening as much. Why? Because the market's tight. Do I think that's going to pick up again? Absolutely. No doubt in my mind that's going to pick up again. That's a big deal. So while the market is down, I'm looking to see who's demonstrating to me that they are resilient, that they're still masters of their use case. They still bring something to the table. No controversy today. No controversy. I know people were expecting it. Nothing. No controversy. Not really. Not really. Just regular market moves driven by geopolitical tensions. And one thing that I think is going to hit is going to be the reality that the conflict isn't going to stop this week, and it's not going to stop next week. If it doesn't stop next week, we're at a month, right? A few more days after that, we're at a month. That's going to be the problem. That one right there is going to be the problem. No. As usual, one of my guys is working, giving me an update while I'm doing it. They always know that I'm doing the show. They know the time I do the show. They want to interrupt anyway. They don't care. They don't care. But yeah, there's nothing controversial other than you've got to pay attention to this macro event. But while you're paying attention to the macro event, what are these small things that are happening? Who's proving out to be resilient? Who's proving their use case and staying where they are, maintaining? Who's showing strength? Who's showing weakness? Who's showing weakness? Thank you, Captain Banana. Thank you very much. I can't put a heart on that. Sometimes, people do really nice things for you, like Captain Banana did. She sent me a tip. I'd like to put a heart on it, but some things I can't put hearts on. Like it doesn't give me the option. I kind of like the one that they gave you today. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm looking at the news today, and I'm just walking through. You know what we haven't done in a long time that we probably have to do over the weekend is start walking through. Like I used to walk through up to a certain number of coins and just give my opinion about those coins. I mean, do I really have to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, XRP, USDC, Solana? No, I don't. But you see how Solana can make money for you. Solana's at $90 right now. Over the past 30 days, Solana is up 8 points. Wow. You can make money off of Solana. Just saying, you can make money off of Solana. Do I want to build on Solana? Absolutely not. I don't want to build anything on Solana. But can I make money off of Solana? Aha, yes. I just wouldn't want to build on it. Hyperliquid in the top 10. Hello? Has anybody been paying attention? Hyperliquid is in the top 10 right now. Wow. Who did it bunny hop? Cardano. Captain Banana, it's Thursday though. It's Thursday. So it's Thursday. I know how you are on a Thursday. So I'm cool. I'm definitely cool. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I really do. So yeah, I'm looking at these coins. So Hyperliquid, yes. Cardano, yes. Bitcoin Cash, yes. I've done zero research on Leo, but because of its movement, because of its momentum, because it's less than 10% down year to date, yes. Monero, I love privacy coins, so that's an automatic yes. Chainlink, really? You don't have to ask. Athena, it's just a stable coin. I've never used it, by the way. Ham's House, what's going on, my man? Thank you for letting us know you invested in yourself. DAI, quickly rising. The way we look at the top 10 coins right now, this is what I was saying the other day. The way we look at the top 10 coins right now, we're going to have to start looking at them differently. We're going to have to start talking about the top 20 because all of the stable coins are moving up. And you're going to have to pay attention to the top 20. We might even just start saying, you know what? Here are the top 10 coins, SANS or SANS, stable coins. Get a clean list. Here are the top 10 coins if you X out stable coins. That's what you're going to be paying attention to. A coin that I never talk about, that I have to be truthful about, is Tron. I don't have a bag of Tron, but Tron is solidly in the top 10. I think it's gambling until things improve on determination of global trade. That last sentence is killing me. I think it's gambling. I don't think it's gambling. Remember what I said? I'm talking about, do you have a use case? How have you been withstanding right now? I'm driven by use case. I'm driven by use case. Now, is it chance? Yes. Is it gambling? Not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. To me, there's a slight difference between chance and gambling. For me. Let's see. Stellar. Obviously, I like Stellar. I like Avalanche. I like Litecoin, Hedera. PayPal USD is in the top 25 coins right there. That's big. That's big. In the top 25 coins, that's, wow. Sui's at number 25. Shiba Inu is at 26. Toncoin is right on the heels at 28. And if you look at the list, you start to see jumps between the levels of coins. You see jumps, right? I'm looking for opportunities to make money. Tether Gold up. And then there's Polkadot. And right after that, you have Pax Gold. And Pax Gold is at 51.15. Tether Gold is at 5,085. Vive la différence. Uniswap I like. BitTensor I like. Mantle I like. Near. I'm going to have to think about that. I'm actually going to have to think about Near Protocol. I haven't looked at them hard in a long time. I would treat them as, okay, I need to do new research. Aster I like. I have a bag, obviously. Aave I like. I have a bag. Ripple USD firing up. It's in the top 50. It's at 45. Big deal. All stable coins are slowly creeping up. All stable coins. And I want you to think about this. Whoever issues a stable coin, that's consistent money, isn't it? It's consistent money. Tether just printed. We dropped the article, a couple of days ago? We dropped the article. Tether had minted another $1 billion in USDT because they're inching up. The demand is there. All of them. Stable coins is the conversation. Stablecoins is the conversation. Very big deal. So Ripple I like. BitGet token. Know nothing about it. Pepe I have a bag. Ondo I have a bag. Polygon previously. Matic. I have the teensiest weensiest of bags. I used to love Polygon until they screwed it up. Don't know where they're going, but I can honestly say Polygon is at 1.14% year to date. Year to date, it's only 1.14% down. Hasn't made a lot of moves, but in the past 30 days, it's up 8.79%. Do I think they're going anywhere anytime soon? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do I still have a little bit of hope for Polygon? Yes. I think they need to become more relevant again. RIP to BUSD, BNB. BNB, you're writing off BNB? Are you kidding me? You're joking, right? You've got to be kidding me about BNB. There's no way. I love BNB. Yeah, I have a big bag of BNB. I'd have to understand why you're writing off BNB. I don't understand why you'd be writing them off. The market goes. BNB is one of the largest chains being built on. I do not easily write off a chain that's got so much built on it and building still happening. That said, building right now in crypto has taken a 75% hit because a lot of those developers have moved over to AI. I'm saying if BUSD was still around, so much revenue would be going into BNB token. Yeah, but BNB doesn't require it. BNB is its own animal. BUSD is just a stable coin. That's all it was. Yeah, I'm not worried about BUSD. Nothing's going on there. Market cap of 40 million. Wow. I don't pay attention to that at all. How much do you think Polygon will be affected by Utah and the other prediction markets? They have nothing to do with it. Polygon. You're thinking poly market, not Polygon. Polygon and Kalshi and all the rest of the predictive markets have a major problem. They're freaking gambling, and they're trying to hide behind the CFTC at the federal level. And I truly think the states are going to win. It's gambling, period. At the very least, they'll be able to say, you can't do sports gambling. You can't do certain gambling in this state. They're going to be like, well, can't have access to that over here. It's gambling. It's all gambling. It's all gambling. So do I think poly market has an Achilles heel? Absolutely. Absolutely. Kalshi's trying to move into Brazil. Brazil's got a gambling problem, massive gambling problem, but they're still trying to move in to Brazil. And then Brazil's trying to bring down the gambling problems. These markets, they don't care. They don't care. And I'm just like, wow. I wouldn't give a damn if they were treated like any other gamble, if they treated like any other casino. It's just that they're enabling you to bet on what color is Eddie's mug going to be today. And then people are treating it like it's really predictive. It's not. It's not predictive. Sometimes the outcome matches, what actually happened, what actually happens matches what is on there, but they don't have anything to do with each other. What I'm doing with my money is not necessarily what I'm doing over here with my vote. Things like that. If they were treated like a gambling company, I wouldn't give a rat's behind about predictive markets. I think predictive markets are driving a hell of a lot more people to gamble. And I think that's a massive problem. Massive problem. Because it's more addictive, in my humble opinion. It's way more addictive. Just saying. Just saying. So tonight's question: what is the latest car company to sound the alarm bell? Stellantis, 25%. Audi, 50%. GMC, 25%. Other, 0. I can't believe that nobody chose other. Seriously? Volkswagen. They put big money on EVs. I think everybody put big money on EVs, and there's not that much of a demand for EVs. I think the reason why there's not that much demand for EVs is because, yeah, you made this EV car, but you didn't really invest in electric technology. And I think that's where you get messed up. And so they're trying to push back, and there's not a lot of demand. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, and look what's going on. I got solar and I have 3 electric vehicles. Ta-da! There's that one. Yeah, I don't think about that. It's electric vehicle. Yeah. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. I don't worry about that. I got sunlight. I'm good. I'm just gonna plug in, and I'm good to go. Those that have to sit on, they're looking at me on the highway, going, "I hate you." Like, yeah, you can hate Tesla right now too, but they're not stopping at the gas station. In the United States, the reason why EVs are taking a hit, in my humble opinion, is because the United States as a country did not get behind EVs strong enough to say, we're going to build out the electric grid. We're going to build out renewable energy. We're going to build out all these things to power EVs. We're going to get these companies to start investing in better battery technology. The United States didn't, and China did. China's got battery technology that will charge a car 8 to 80% in like 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes. Before that, they had a simple setup where you pulled your car in and it would change the battery for you and you leave. Again, within 5 minutes. Imagine. But we didn't do that. Why didn't we do that? There's a problem. There's the problem. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, do me a favor. Hit the hypes and smash the likes. Tell your friends about this community. It's the only one that cares about what you're doing with your investment knowledge. And if you have a chance, go check out all of the articles that we have over on growmybag.tv. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. for the daily, and I hope to see you there. Everybody, have a good one. Bye-bye.